Hi everyone, in this video I'll show you how to create our first ORM model, and we'll also run our first database migration with Alembic. First thing first, let's install the required packages. We will install the SQLAlchemy package. So we'll activate our virtual environment here. It's gonna be VNV scripts. And we'll also install Alembic, which is the migration tool. For me, it's already satisfied because I have already installed these packages. So we're good to go. Let's clear this. And the first thing that I would like to do is create our infrastructure. For this, I'm going to go to core, create a new directory, call it infra, which is for infrastructure. And I will create a new subdirectory and call it db. Here I'm gonna create the session.py, which contains our session details, session.py. And from here I'm gonna import, so from SQLAlchemy, import create engine. From SQLAlchemy.txt.declarative import declarative base. From SQLAlchemy.orm import session maker. And I'll import my settings, which is the class containing our environmental variables. So from core.config import settings. And now I'll create my database URL. Database URL equals f. Now, before I do that, I need to add my environmental variables. So I'll go back to our .env, and here I'm gonna be using the ones that we use from Docker. So here I'm gonna have the database user, the database password, the database server, the database port, and the database name. And let's check again our Docker Compose, what we used. Okay, so our port, it's this one. The database name is dev. Server, it's gonna be localhost. Database password, it's gonna be Postgres. User, Postgres. Okay, good. And now we need to update our configuration class. So I'm gonna be here. And I'm gonna just copy, paste this. And like this. And I'm gonna just replace this. And it's gonna be db user, password, server, port, and name. Oops, I'll just have to fix that. I will default everything to empty. I'm gonna just initialize this one. And okay, I'll just add the user and password as defaults. Server is gonna be localhost. And the DB name is gonna be there. So what does this do? If we don't have configure environmental variable here, it's gonna use these ones. So in case I don't have database credentials, at least this will work. It's gonna try to connect to the database. So let's go ahead and move this here to the side, and let's configure our database URL. Okay. Now after we do that, we're gonna go like this and say engine equals create engine, database URL. Gonna copy paste this, session local. It's gonna be session maker, bind equals engine, and to flash true, no false, and auto commit false. here I'm gonna say that the base, it's declarative base. And here I'm gonna create a function that's responsible of getting my session from my database. So it's gonna be get db equals session local, try yield db. Finally, db.close. Okay, good. So this is gonna be our session. And now let's go ahead and create our first model. So in database, I'll create a new folder and name it models. And here I'm gonna name it to do model.py. And here I'll just create a very simple to-do RM model. And what we need to do, we need to first import our base from our session. So I'm gonna say from dot session import base. I'm gonna say class to-do model. It will inherit from our base. The table name is gonna be to-dos. And okay, now there's a tricky part here. Not really tricky, but I'll explain you right now. Import mapped column, and we also need. Okay, so when you're defining your columns in your ORM model, some people are using the column object. Some people use the mapped column object. I think it all comes down to the preferences. I read once in Stack Overflow that there's like plenty of ways to define your ORM model. You can find more about the differences between the column object and the mapped column in the official SQLAlchemy documentation. But because I started using this one, I'll just stick with this one. So now we're gonna import from SQLAlchemy. I guess I'll need the string. Okay, sorry, import string. We'll also need datetime. Okay, good. Do we need anything else? And I guess we're gonna use the UID. So from SQLAlchemy and .dialects.postgres import UUID. Now here I'm gonna create my ID column, which is gonna be a mapped column. And here I'm gonna add it as a UUID. It's gonna be a UUID as UUID equals true. Primary key true. Okay, good. We're gonna have our title, which is gonna be a mapped column of string. String, it's gonna be a let's say 50. Let's check our schemas. Okay, we're saying title, it's max 50. Okay, that's correct. It's gonna be nullable equals false. By default, nullable is true. For primary keys is nullable true. For non-primary keys, by default it's for primary keys nullable it's false, and for non-primary columns it's true, so I'm gonna set it to false. Our description, mapped column, it's gonna be a string of, let's say 255, nullable. I'm gonna leave it to be nullable. And we also need the created at, updated at, and deleted at date time. So here I'm gonna create the created at, which is a mapped column, date time, time zone true, default. It's gonna be, I'm using a utility functions. So I'm gonna do from SQLAlchemy, from SQLAlchemy.sql import func. And from here, I'm gonna say func.now, which instead of explicitly adding the datetime ourselves, it will automatically add the datetime a newly created record, nullable false. Okay, I'll just move it like this. Okay, and now we have now we need to add the updated at and deleted at timestamps. It's gonna be updated at, deleted at. So nullable, it's fine. And for the updated at, we need to add a different type, which is gonna be on update. It's gonna be on update. It's gonna be function now, good, and we'll have our deleted at, which is gonna be, we'll have to explicitly add it. Is that like a on delete? No, okay, good. So this is our first table. We defined our columns, we have defined their types, if they are primary keys, some unique attributes like if it's nullable, timestamps, default and update, etc. And now let's try to run our first migration. So we have our, okay, let me just check something really quick. Okay, and there's one more thing. We're gonna add an init file here, init.py, and we'll also one in our models. Okay, we have that in our model, and we also need one for our DB. So just do init.py. Here I'll just import all of my models. So from .todo model import todo model. I'm gonna, let's say, export it, not really exporting it, but saying which things I want to export from this module. And here we need to import our session, import base, engine. Actually, okay, maybe we don't need that. So all I'm gonna do, I'll just bind my models. So from .models, import star, and all .extend, and it's gonna be my models.all extend. So is that not correct? Okay, and all it's gonna be like this. Okay, I'll just add the session details as well. Import base, engine, session local, get DB. Base, engine, session local, get DB. Okay, let's tidy up. Okay, great. And do we need anything else? I think we're good. All we need to do now is use Alembic and create our first migration. To do that, we're gonna run the Alembic command, which is Alembic init Alembic, which is gonna create an Alembic folder with some configuration. So it's added our alembic.ini and the Alembic folder. Now let's go to our env file in the Alembic, and what we need to do here, we need to get the environmental variables from our .env. So I'm gonna import those, import sys. Here I'm gonna say size.path.append path.ambs path join path. I'll explain a little bit what these do. File. Core. Okay, perfect. And now we need to, from core.infra.db, import base. So in order to read this file, we need to change the directory when this file is going to be used. So essentially we are saying, okay, change the directory and go to core. Okay, target metadata. This is gonna be base.metadata, which this metadata is gonna be the metadata of all of our models. So that's good. Okay, let's check everything. Okay, I think the rest it's gonna be the same. And we also need to modify our alembic.ini file. Okay, not the best practice, but we need to add our database URL here for this to work. And that's gonna be okay. And here it's gonna be SQL Postgres SQL. That is gonna be our user, which is gonna be Postgres localhost. It's gonna be this port and dev. Okay, and now let's try to run our first migration, which is gonna be Alembic upgrade head. Let's see if that works. Okay, we got our first error. Let's see what it says. DB user Postgres or filter requirement. Okay, I think it's our settings class. I think that's a problem with this. So let's go here and what it says. DB user. Okay. Okay, that's a stupid mistake. Okay, it has to be like this. Okay, my bad. Let's try again and run it. No module. Okay, I guess we need to install this package as well. Pip install. And let's try again. Upgrade head. Extend its read-only command. Sorry, it's only read-only. Okay, let's go ahead. So it's gonna be on InfraDB. Okay, got it. Okay, that's my bad. It's gonna be like this. Dot extend. Sorry, it's gonna be like this. Okay, and I guess we also need to install a dialect for. We need a plugin for Postgres. So let's see, Python, blah blah. Let's see. Okay, maybe I have a typo. I have a typo. Okay, makes sense. I was worried a little bit. So it's gonna be. What's that? Maybe it's on my NV here. Okay, it's here. Okay, let's try again. So what this is gonna do, it's gonna run our first migration. If that works, I guess not. Port, okay, so we need to start our Docker. So because Docker is not up and running, there is no database to connect. So that's why we're getting this error. But it's a good sign. It means our configuration works. So let's see. Okay, our container is up. Let's try this one more time. Okay, I guess it's strange. This is not what I was expecting. Okay, I'm missing a command, guys. That's my bad. So what we need to do, we need to run a different command, which is to actually create like a commit-like message for our Alembic. So it's gonna be Alembic revision auto-generate added to-do table. Okay, it detected the table, that's good. So if we go to our versions, it's generating this version and it creates what it needs to do for us to upgrade our database. So every time we want to upgrade or downgrade our database, this generated file will have all the necessary details for Alembic. So if we run Alembic upgrade head, perfect, the migration has finished. And if we go to our database, so it's gonna be on dev, schemas, and tables. We have successfully created our tables. Let's run a quick query. So select star from to-dos. So great, we have our columns the way that we have described them. 3 timestamps, a character of 255, a character of 50, and the UUID. And here I'm gonna also select, okay, I'll just leave that there. And here I'm gonna run select star from Alembic version. And this is the current version of our Alembic. So if you take this here and you search it in your repository, you will see that you'll be able to identify the revision. If I now run let's say I did a mistake with my migration, all I need to do is just, let's say I want to go to the previous version that I had. I need to run Alembic downgrade -1. So if I go back to my schemas, you'll see that there is no table. And let's say I want to go one version ahead, or let's say I want to go to this revision. All I need to do is just upgrade to the revision ID. And if we go back to our database, it's here. But you need to understand that you can only jump one revision at once. Let's say I had another revision here. I couldn't go from the beginning to the second migration. I had to jump to the first migration and then run to the second migration. Okay, so this is after the recording has finished, but one thing to keep in mind is that in this Alembic.ini, we don't want to define our database URL. So you'll just have to comment this out and leave it at the default value. I just will use the quick shortcut. What you need to do is just comment this out here. Go to your env.py, which is in the Alembic folder, and just import again the settings, create the database URL, and just override it with this configuration. And one final thing is that all these generated files from Alembic, like the versions, the env, readme, this script, and this Alembic.ini, you need to commit them to your repository. So that once you, let's say, deploy your changes to the server and you connecting the database, once you run your migrations will run because you'll have all the details in your Alembic folder. Okay, great. So that's it for today. On the next video, I'll show you how to create our first repository. So thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one.